that's right. Unfortunately, and I am the net manager, and I have asked the website to be corrected, and this has been going on for a long, long time. So there's a bunch of bad information up on the website. In fact, there's one listing up there that I think it may have finally gotten corrected. I got Scott to fix it, but I was listed as still living in Fullerton, and I haven't lived in Fullerton since 2015. So that's been that way for a long time. But let's see. We got some time here. Well, welcome. Glad you were able to join us. And yeah, if you're on the reflector, the email reflector, the Collins, the CCA reflector, I do post an email every Friday. I don't think I've ever missed one, actually. Every Friday morning I post an announcement announcing the net at 7 p.m. local time here on the West Coast. So, well, very good. Well, glad to have you at KWM2 and the 30L1 sounding good, and great to have you join us. So I hope you'll continue to join us in the future, and we'll be starting the net about 7 o'clock. So at 7 o'clock, as close as I can to 7 o'clock. And we got Max KJ6HN, who's another one of our net controls, who is third Friday net control, and then Ron W6RBJ, who's up in Fortuna, up in Northern California on the coast out there, and that wonderful, nice, cool weather out where he lives. So very good, Jerry. Thanks for checking in, and you're on the list here. I'm going to see if we got anybody else who'd like to join us. This is W6DQ.
W6MVM here.
And W7MS.
It's Mike and Mike. W6MVM, Mike number 1, and W7MS, Mike number 2. Good evening, guys. Mike number 1, MVM, why don't you take a turn and hand it over to Mike number 2, and then Mike number 2, give it back to me. Take it away, W6MVM, W6DQ.
W6DQ, W6MVM. Good to hear, everybody. I had the rig tuned up for a long time, but I was watching the old guys on PBS, and I just turned back to find you were already taking check-ins. We're at the ranch running the old S line, the S1 line, with the old Vietnam War amp. So it's beautiful here. It's in the low 80s, and humidity is really low, and the sky is as clear as a bell. So anyway, let me pass it on. W7MS, W6MVM.
Well, thank you, Mike. W6MVM, W7MS. Well, good evening to all. I've been listening for a few minutes. I've heard Max and also Ron, but I missed Jerry. I was busy on a dummy load there, doing the dummy test. And good evening to you, Dennis. So you've got a few participants here. And on the well issue and private water company issue, it looks like I'll be replacing my pressure tank. I was researching and troubleshooting that, obviously, the leaky bladder in the old pressure tank routine. So kiss off some more radio money for water, private water company maintenance there at my well house. So back to you, Dennis, W6DQ, W7MS.
Okay, Mike, W7MS, W6DQ, and second op just walked in the door. You want to check in?
Kilo, Foxtrot 6, Quebec, November, Golf.
Okay, we got Lisa on the list. You got anything to say to the gang?
Hello, good evening, and looking forward to the next night.
Okay. All right. Well, let me see. Let me take a quick break and see if there's anybody else who'd like to join us. This is W6DQ.
Whiskey Alpha 6, Juliet, Kilowatt, November.
WA6JKN. Kevin, good evening, sir. Why don't you take a quick one and give it back to me?
Okay, it's a quick one from Tyler, Texas. Back to...
Okay, Kevin, very good. You're on the remote tonight. Very good. Well, I'm going to go ahead and, close enough. I'm going to go ahead and start the net. Let me lock the PTT. There we go. All right. This is W6DQ Whiskey 6 Delta Quebec. My name name is Dennis, and located in the city of Inyokern, California. And I'm going to be net control this evening. Welcome to the regular Friday evening West Coast edition of the Collins Collectors Association Collins Net. We meet here every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, which is 0200 UTC Saturday morning, to exchange information on Collins-related topics. We welcome questions and comments on the restoration and operation of Collins amateur military and commercial gear. You don't have to be running Collins equipment to join us. Anyone with an interest in Collins radio is welcome to check in. Pardon me. The purpose of the CCA, hang on a second. Okay, Skip. I got you. The purpose of the CCA is to promote the preservation, restoration, and use of Collins amateur radio equipment. And to preserve the history and lore of Collins Radio. In addition, we provide technical and historical information archives for Collins Radio Info. The CCA is licensed by Rockwell Collins to use images, logos, manuals, and printed materials. If you want more information about the CCA, our forums, activities, and services, how to become a member, please visit our website at collinsradio.org. That's collinsradio, one word, .org. Please help our by joining the CCA. You can also join us on Zoom, and Jerry, since you're new here, if you want to join us on Zoom, we have a lot of fun with that as kind of a back channel to the net. You can drop me an email, and I'll send you the information on that. It's w6dq@arrl.net. Make sure you identify who you are in the email so I know that it's you. All right, so that's the preamble. I got my throat cleared, I think. Let me see if there's anybody else who'd like to check in. This is W6DQ. Okay, nothing heard. So let's go ahead and do the first group. We'll get 4 up there. Max, you're at the top of the list. KJ6HN over to Ron, W6RBJ. And Jerry, who's just joined us, Kilo Fox 6 Victor Bravo. And Jerry's also a Collins owner. He's running a KWM2 and a 30L1 there. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, Jerry, when you get your turn there. And send it over to Mike, W6MVM, Mike Victor Mike. And Mike, you can send it back to me when you're finished. So Max, take it away, KJ6HN from W6DQ.
Well, alrighty then. So this is Max, KJ6HN in Darwin, California. A little teeny tiny town, sort of in the middle of nowhere, between Lone Pine and Death Valley, more or less. And I'm the only ham radio operator in town. We got about 38 to 40 people living in town full time. It's really a remote town. We're 35 miles from Lone Pine and about 95 miles from Bishop, where all the good grocery shopping is, which I just did yesterday. Was Bunny's busy day yesterday for me, starting with a monthly coliform test, which I have to run up to the water analysis lab in Independence, which is now about 75-mile drive up there, because the local Highway 136 between Olancha Junction and Lone Pine is closed due to flooding from the Owens River. So that's kind of a nuisance. But anyway, so I did that yesterday, and then I had my ice chest, my big Coleman Extreme ice chest with 3 blue ices packed in the bottom and cloth grocery bags and everything. So I did some shopping while I was, let me back up. So from Independence, the city of Bishop is 45 miles further north, and so I wanted to do some grocery shopping up there because I was already close enough. So I did that and went to the hardware store and the health food store and blah, 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 and finished off the day by eating sushi at Yamatani Sushi up in Bishop. Always a pleasure. And so that was my day yesterday. And let's see, Dennis, you were talking, I think it was a month or a month and a half ago, you were talking about your local well having to be put was it? You can comment when it's your turn. Re-drilled or expanded in some way? I've taken a keen interest in small water district drinking water supplies since I got my treatment plant operator's certificate from the state of California. And so I have a pretty good interest in these kinds of things. So we're struggling in Darwin with our water system, with the water flow rate to town, hopefully to be rectified in about a month or less. We had a flash flood where the town Springs is that feeds the town. Now we're down to about 3 to 3.5 gallons a minute flow, which for 38 to 40 people is we're just barely getting by. The tanks are hovering on around half full, half empty, however you want to look at that. And anyway, it's an area of interest of mine now at the ripe old age of 68, being the water treatment plant operator, and I also collect the water samples for the county and for BSK Labs in Fresno quarterly. And it's really interesting. It's a really interesting field of study. So Dennis, when your time comes around, let me know what's happening with your well. I might learn something. All right, over to Ron, who was very faint. Ron, you were about an S5 at my QTH. So over to you, Ron. W6RBJ from KJ6HN and the group.
Okay, fine business. KJ6HN and the group, W6RBJ. Yeah, I can see that I don't seem to be getting much juice out of this linear. I may switch over to my other rig, my S-line, and see if it does any better. But you're coming in well as we progress on. The signals have come up. Max, you were in a solid S9, and Dennis, you were hitting a 5 dB over S9 here on that last transmission. So I'm curious. Maybe it is time to polish up all the interconnects here, but we'll see what gives. I am also interested in the water situation. As I had mentioned, I am on my own well, so I'm not running a system. It's a system of one. We have a 140-foot deep 6-inch well, and pump the water out of it up to a hill behind our house that has a 2,500-gallon water tank on it. And one of our last earthquakes, that tank became airborne and snapped the main. And so that was a real trip to have to go for 5 days without fresh water in the house. Boy, you can deal without gas, and you can deal without electricity. But boy, if you haven't got water, boy, that's a drag. So it goes. But I will pass it on to Jerry and maybe turn on my S-line and see if it does any better. So over to you, Jerry. KF6, Victor Bravo from W6 Romeo Bravo Juliet.
Oh, thank you. This is KF6VB, name's Jerry. And before I start talking about my radios, I'd like to mention that I too have a well. It's a shallow well. It's a dug well. The county well guide thinks it might date from the 19th century. We're talking mules and pickaxes. 5 feet in diameter, lined in brick. And I have a solar-powered well pump down in that well. And I use it to irrigate all our fruit trees and some of our planter beds and whatnot. It has we have about 350 watts worth of solar cells and a 25 amp solar controller and a couple of big batteries, and also in that equipment rack there cabinet is a ultraviolet sterilizer, because that well is coliform positive. And one time a dripper squirted me in the face and I got pink eye, and I didn't want to get that anymore. And also I think the bacteria is the bottom of the food chain for all the algae that
that grows inside the drippers and filters and everything, and just clogs things up. So I have, there's a little bit of electronics. There's a 1-minute timer. When the irrigation controller turns on that well pump, first the inverter comes on, which starts up the sterilizer. 1 minute times out, and then the pump goes on. The sterilizer's a fluorescent tube, and sometimes they flicker and stuff. And so I give it a good minute to come up. The whole mess is controlled by a Raspberry Pi running some open source drip controller software. Anyway, on to the radios. I got this KWM2 probably about a month ago on eBay in non-op condition. It was just dirty switches. I went through it with with Q-tips and deoxit and everything just came up. There was one leaky capacitor that was preventing it from going into receive after you stop transmitting. So I replaced that, and now it just works. I have indulged in a little bit of modification, nothing cosmetic, no extra holes. I just finished this yesterday. I installed a noise suppression DSP in the radio, and now when you click on NB for noise blanker, man, the noise just comes right down. It is just amazing. I have also, I have a gadget that I built that's outboard that turns this KWM2 into a serious CW machine. Everybody seems to agree that KWM2s and S-lines up to the last one suck for CW. And the reason for that is that Collins did an audio oscillator into the transmit chain, and they needed to have the tone really high in order to not transmit harmonics of that audio tone. So what I did is I basically convert that 1750 hertz down to 650 hertz. First, there's a bandpass filter, okay, then convert it down to 650 hertz, and then a low-pass filter to clean everything up, and it just makes a world of difference. And I did all of this in software, running on a little CPU called a PC. Okay, back to net. This is KF6VB.
Jerry, it goes over to Mike, W6MVM. Go ahead and pick it up, W6DQ.
Thank you. I thought I did. I was just about ready to jump in. Okay. Wow. I've been following your discussion on the KWM2 conversion on the net there. Excuse me, on the reflector. Very, very interesting. I just converting that back and even cleaning it up. I'm not sure that when you go through the modulator that you're not going to get birdies. I would take a really good look at your output on CW. Jerry, running that low a tone, the reason Collins moved them up is to get the harmonics on the edge of the filter. And I'm not sure that what you're doing is going to put out a birdieless signal. Anyway, I'd like to hear what the comments on that. That was the only thing I missed on the reflector. How you avoided birdies by injecting a low tone. Everything else looks great. I like everything you did. And anyway, we're here on the 75S1. I do have a 75S3, and 32S3, which I do love to run on CW, but it doesn't do CW the same way it does CW by actually injecting a carrier and running it that way. So it's a true CW rig, plus the BFO and having the extra filters is pretty nice. So anyway, we're here at the ranch. I'm trying to move here to the ranch permanently. It's nice to be on tonight. And let me pass it on back to you, Dennis. W6DQ, W6MBM.
Okay, Mike, very good. W6MVM and the CollinsNet W6DQ. Wow, a lot of interesting stuff going on here tonight. This is going to be great. So let's see. Let me see if I can go through the list here. First off, Max, I'm going to let Lisa tell you some of the stuff that's going on with our well. She handles a lot of it with the community well. Our water quality here is very, very good, but we do have to do it, like you say, it has to be tested periodically, and she handles all of that stuff. So I think we're going to be looking for a new tester, though, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she's chuckling. Yeah, our tester that would come out here for the community well was located in Bakersfield, and they've decided it's not economical enough for them to come over here. It's too far to drive. So we're going to have to do something else. Maybe talk to you about how you handle it and send it to the county. Maybe we have to take our own samples and send them in. I don't know. We've got taps located throughout the that originally served 12 properties, and now it's serving 11 properties. And throughout the system, there are little taps out there that you can take samples. They're designed to take samples, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, we didn't have to do any drilling, so iron pipe for a liner, the well casing, not a liner, but a well casing is iron pipe, and over many years, it's basically decayed, rusted, and pieces fall down into the well, and they get jammed into the pump, and it messes the pump. Oh, Mike, I just got your message. Okay, I'll take you off the list. Thanks for letting me know. Sorry you have to leave us. He's got a text message. We'll see you next time. So the motor gets jammed up, and of course, if the pump gets jammed, which ultimately can burn up the motor controller. Thankfully, that didn't happen. We were able to clean it up and put it back down whole. But we are replacing all of that, and the casing is staying in place. We're not drilling a new well, but we are putting in a plastic liner to protect it from the well casing decaying anymore. So that's what's going on here with that well. We had to do this to the private well, some years ago. I want to say like 2000. I don't remember when it was, 2015, 2016. Yeah, it was quite a while back. We had to replace we added a plastic liner to the private well here at the house. And by the way, our water table's at 192 feet here. The well goes down, both wells, I believe, go down 240 feet, I think is how deep they are. So, yeah, and Mike was talking about pressure tanks. Yeah, we had to replace the pressure tank on our private well, the one for the house. The pressure tank on the community well is ginormous. It's huge, but we got like 30,000 gallons of water for the community well. And Ron, you talk about snapping the pipe from your tank. When we had the big earthquakes here in 2019, these are 15,000-gallon tanks, two of them, and they both shifted about 6 inches. But the thing we were thankful for is nothing broke. The earthquake did cause some issues, though, with debris getting sucked up, basically silt getting sucked up from the well, jamming up the meter. So the flow meter stopped working. So that was interesting. So anyway, that's fun, and so there you go, Max. I'll let Lisa. Lisa can talk about some more of the stuff that we deal with the well, but she's the treasurer of the water company. But Ron, interesting, 140 foot, so a little bit shallower, and Jerry with a shallow well. That's really cool. That's really amazing. That's pretty neat that you have a shallow well on the property, and it's great that you use that for irrigation. Sounds like that wouldn't be very good for your household use, for human consumption, because of the dealing with all the stuff with the coliform and all of that. Thankfully, our water here is good quality. We've got sweet water out here. Lots of calcium in the water, which of course is a real pain in the neck because everything gets clogged up. But other than that, the water is really good quality. So there you go. And Jerry, the articles on the reflector, I forgot about that. Yeah, I was just went back and scrolling through there. Yep, Teensy. I know those processors well. Played around quite a bit using those books. So on Arduino projects. So that's pretty cool. So good on you for doing that and running the whole. Running that on the KWM2 for DSP noise reduction. That's an interesting concept. I want to go back and read your articles a little bit more. I agree with Mike. That's something worth checking out. But I do also, same thing that Mike commented about. I'm thinking about the same thing with the audio tone. You just have to make sure it's more than just the harmonics. You have to make sure that the filter is actually functioning properly, and that you don't have the opposite sideband, and that the carrier is properly nulled out, so that you don't get, otherwise you're transmitting on 3 frequencies. So interesting about going low, though, and I understand why they went high, like Mike was talking about, to put it up to the top of the passband of the filter. So anyway, well, congratulations on getting the KWM2 up and running. We've got a few of those around here, and there's a few of them on the net here, more than a few of them on the net here from time to time. And we've got a couple. We've got one KWM2A sitting in front of me. I got one on the other desk here, and I've got a big S-line behind me with a 30S1 and a 75S3A, or 75S3C, 32S3A, and then I've got another S1, 75S3, 32S3 on the other desk. So, and a couple of 30L1s and a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, we're entrenched in Collins here at W60Q. So anyway, okay, let me see if I got any more check-ins. Let me take a real quick break and see if we got anybody else who'd like to join us. This is W60Q.
Good evening from W1N ZR.
W6 Juliet Bravo Delta.
Okay, let me take those. I got KB602J. I got Wayne. Good evening. And I'm not sure, there was another, did I catch a W? Was that Ken?
Good evening, Dennis. No, it's Brown. Whiskey 1, November 0 Romeo /6 up here in Dixon. Over.
Got it, okay. I wasn't sure who that was, so very good. Brown, right?
Affirmative.
Super, okay. And Mel, I got you, WA6AA JBD. Anybody else?
K7CJV, Beaver Dam Visitor.
Okay, it was Whiskey 7 Delta Juliet Bravo, is that correct?
Negative. Kilowatt 7 Delta Juliet Victor Visitor.
DJV, okay, as a visitor. Well, welcome. Hope you stick around with us. We got about 7 more guys. You're at the end of the list of 7. We do the net in groups of 4, so do stick around. Don't go away. Want to learn what you're running there, and if you have interest in Collins, and hopefully you'll stick around for that. So let's see. I'm going to do the next group here, and then we'll look for some more check-ins after that. I got Lisa, KF6QNG, followed by Kevin on remote from Texas. And then over to Skip, K6LGL, and then to Wayne, KB6OQJ. And Wayne, send it back over to me when you're done. Mike left, W7MS, so I've got him crossed off the list right now. So signals are really good tonight. This is really great and good discussion on a non-Collins topic, but it's still a great discussion. So, Lisa, take it away. KF6QNG and the Collins Net, W6DQ.
Okay. Thank you, Dennis, for running the net this evening. And, well, Max, I'm not sure what else I can tell you. He pretty much summed it all up. So, basically, I do the accounting for the water company and the reporting to the state, since it's considered it's like its own water district. We're incorporated and all of that. So there's certain reporting things that have to be done. And, of course, county has to get their fees for that and all that fun stuff. But haven't heard when the repairs are supposed to start. So anyway, it doesn't really affect us other than having to pay the money, even though I don't use the water over there. But that's part of our bylaws, that anyone that owns property still has to pay, even if you put in your own well. So otherwise it leaves everybody else just kind of stuck, and that's not good. So anywho, that's about it. So if there's any specific questions you have that I can answer, or what to look forward to, Dennis said I do need to get a new water testing company lined up to come out here. And crazy, we have a local company, but they are so unreliable, so we don't use them. Anyway, that's that. So with that, I'm going to send it over to Kevin, WA6JKN from KF6QNG.
And K6LGL, I think I follow Kevin.
Yes, you do, Skip. Kevin, are you there? Well, we may have lost Kevin. I know he's on the remote. We'll come back and check again. Skip, go ahead and take it. K6LGL W6DQ.
Okay. Good evening to you, Dennis, and hello to Lisa and all the others on the CCA net. K6 Little Green Light, Skip in Santa Monica, 19902DM, and a small amplifier with a couple of 572 V's there. Pushing about maybe 400 watts or so. All right, on water systems, we in Santa Monica, back in the 90s, we sued the various oil companies for polluting our groundwater with MTBE, the additives that were used. And there was a $300 million suit against the major oil companies, and we won. So the result is they cleaned up, went through a great deal of cleanup process, extracting and so on. So our groundwater, about 5 years afterwards or so, was in pretty good shape, and then we contract some water from the city of LA and so on. But we have our own sources, our own wells, which are now very usable. And then I think right around the year probably 2010, 2011, I suspect, the city built a reverse osmosis filtration unit for all the water. So it's, we got pretty good drinking water and usable. And the filters do cost the city quite a bit, but hey, it's good water. Okay, enough of that. I think it goes over probably to Wayne. But I'll kick it back to you, Dennis. And so far the earthquakes have not hurt our water supply, not the recent ones anyway. And I have copper piping along with plastic tubing also for the drain, so that helps. But the copper can move quite a bit without, falling apart, and replace all the rusted cast iron pipes and all the old. So, W6DQ and the CCA net, K6LZL.
Take it, Wayne.
Okay, good evening, Dennis, and the rest of the Friday Night Collins group. This is Wayne, KB60QJ, up at Santa Ynez. And a little over halfway decent. I was listening a little bit before I checked in. Just one of those days. Hey, Dennis, you sound healthy. Congratulations. Yeah. I was wondering if you're going to make net tonight the way you sounded last week, but glad to hear you and Lisa are doing well. So, yeah, not a whole lot going on here. I was hoping Mike was going to be sticking around because I just got my electric radio. I let it lapse, and I just got I renewed it, got my first edition, and, well, what a quite surprise there for the cover photo, one of our own. So, anyhow, I'll bug him next week. Maybe I'll send it to him for an autograph. Hi. Not a whole lot going on here. We have some nice weather. It's supposed to be pretty nice in the high 70s, low 80s for the week. So it was interesting listening to your discussions. You and Max talk about your water supply. So, yeah, always something interesting, huh? I guess think of it as a hobby more than a chore. Anyhow, so I think it goes back to you, doesn't it, Dennis? KB6DQ, KB60QJ.
Yeah, Wayne, it does. That's perfect. Okay, KB60QJ and the Collins Net W6DQ. And interesting, for some reason tonight I'm getting some RF into my audio system here. I don't know what's going on with that. I moved some cables around. I must have disturbed something. Anyway, filters should have been taking care of it. I don't know. Odd. But anyway, okay, very good. Well, yeah, Lisa, sorry, I pretty much covered it all. Oh, well. Yeah, the community water system has been a real pain in the neck. And it's an expensive proposition having a system like that. We got multiple booster pumps and it's a 2.5 and a 5 horsepower booster for that thing. A pressure tank that's the size of a small house, and of course the two 15,000-gallon tanks. That's a lot of stuff. So anyway, you have to keep all that stuff running. Thankfully, I don't have to keep it running anymore. I used to actually work on it, but I don't. I stay away from it now. I don't want to get involved. So anyway, oh well. And yeah, Skip, when you live in the city, you ask somebody, well, where's the water come from? Well, I just turn a little tap and the water comes out of the faucet. That's where the water comes from. But anyway, huh?
That's a hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it's a heck of a lot cheaper. Yeah, well, it wasn't when I lived in Fullerton. My water bill every month was pretty steep. But I had a pool and a big yard that had to be watered all the time. So I'm glad I wasn't living there through the worst part of the drought. I'm glad I got out of there when I did. So, Wayne. Yeah, Mike was on the cover. We talked about that one night with his 30K number one, which is pretty cool. That's a pretty neat cover picture. But anywho, yeah, and Lisa and I are feeling much, much better sounding. I know I'm sounding better. I still got some congestion, but I don't think that's left over from being sick. I think that's coming from something else that I'm doing. So I got to, that's what I was going to do today, and I didn't do it, but I'll do that tomorrow. Clean out my sinuses, get rid of that stuff. So, anywho, all right, well, very good, guys and gal. Well, let's get the next group. We got Brown, W1NZR, who's portable here in California. And Brown, we've had you on here before, I know. And I don't know, are you relocating from Rhode Island, or are you just out here visiting? I'm just curious about that. So Brown, W1NZR, and then it goes over to Mel, WA6JBD. And Mel, give it to our visitor, and I'm not sure, I didn't catch your name of our visitor where you're located, so you might comment on that. And that's Kilo 7 Delta Juliet Victor. And then when you're finished, you can hand it back to me, W60Q. So Brown, take it away, W1NZR from W60Q. It's your turn.
Oh, very good, Dennis. W6DQ and the esteem assembled group, W1NZR/6 in greater southeastern suburban Dixon, California, saying a very good evening to everyone on the venerable 618T transceiver. And I'm sure you can hear the 400th cycle whine in the background. And actually quite good conditions. I hope I'm being heard fairly well. Dennis, you're streaming in here. KF6ZB, I think it's Jerry, I'm not sure of the name, with his KWM2. He was leading the pack, just blasting in here. Very, very nice. And again, good evening to all. And good evening to Mike, W6MDM. Good signals over here as well from a little further east, closer to the Sierra. And to answer your question, Dennis, I'm working out here and have been for many years. Actually, this is my third career in California. I've never lived here. If I lived here, I would lose my expense account, and then I couldn't afford to live here. So I'm very, very fortunate. A friend of long-standing here in Dixon has loaned me a real Radio Shack where I've been able to assemble all manner of fine Collins gear, the 618T being among them. So it gives me a break from hotel culture, and I can play a little radio and relax. So that's the story on that. Anyway, we'll keep it going here, and I'm going to hand it over to Mel, WA6JBD, and very glad to be here. So over to you, Mel, from W1NZR.
Thank you, Brown. W1NZR in the Collins net. W6JBD, Mel in Upland, California. Just the last couple of weeks, just life happens. So, anyway, glad to be here. Good evening, everybody. Signals are kind of all over the place, Brown. You're asking, which is a little bit above my noise floor, so a little bit difficult. You're at 60 or 60 over, just bang it in, and everybody else is running the
KW7DJV. Are you still there? Did you disappear on us?
Negative. I'm here at K7 Delta Julia Victor, Kilo 7 Delta Julia Victor, Kilowatt Easy Love Oak, and I'm here in Beaver Dam, Arizona.
Now go ahead and take a turn. It's your turn at the wheel here. Go ahead and tell us a little bit of what you're running there, and maybe if you're interested in Collins at all. This is the Collins Net, so of course we haven't been talking about much. Well, a little bit of talk about Collins tonight, but very good to meet you, Kelly, and thanks for joining us here. But go ahead and take a turn.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes. I usually am operating more on the farm net, which has been unprofitable for the past 2 months. This past summer, we suffered a catastrophic antenna failure. We had a microburst. Took our tower and tribander and dipoles all ended up in a pile in the backyard. So we were slowly rebuilding. First thing up was the 80-meter dipole. So we'll get it back up. It's going to take a while. Anyway, I dropped down here, and I'm copying most everyone on the net, which surprises me. Very impressed with your website. That's a good-looking website. Anyway, we're just trying to find out more about your net, and I appreciate the acknowledgement. This is K7DJV.
Okay, Kelly, very good. Well, welcome to our group here, and we meet here at 7 p.m. every week on Friday. This is Collins Net, so the general interest here is for Collins radio equipment, but we talk about a lot of other things. As you see tonight, we've been talking about water wells, but we like to be able to help people that have questions about Collins and things like that. And I guess one of the things that I should do is tell you what I'm running here. I'm on the KWM 380 with the Alpha 87, and we're driving the horizontal loop, the 160-meter horizontal loop. It's up about 50 feet. And, signals are really nice tonight. The band's quiet here for a change. Usually we have a real high noise level here. Even though we're in a very rural location, we still get a lot of electrical noise here, unfortunately. And I think a lot of it comes from people putting in their solar systems. But we also have a transformer that's a little ways down the road from us that's been giving us fits the last few months. And we need to somehow get those guys out here to fix that. But anyway, I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. But very good. Well, welcome to the net, and we hope you can join us again. You got a nice signal, like I said. You sounded really good here. And so always a pleasure to have newcomers. We got 2 newcomers tonight, which is very cool. Let's see, Mel. Yes, 16 work days. Those are going to go so fast. It's going to be over and done with. I remember what that was like before I retired. It went so quick. And that was just, boy, when I walked out that door, that was such a good feeling. Oh, my gosh. Wow. And, getting ready for the microwave. I've been following the on the email reflector, the SBMS reflector about the contest coming up. And I guess that's what you guys did. Is you talked about that at the meeting last night. One of these days I got to get back on 10. The gear's just sitting around here. I got to get down and see Chip, N6CA. He's got a mount for me for one of the Protlin 3-foot dishes, and I really want to set that up and get that going. So anyway, he had an extra one that he sold me, but I haven't seen him since I paid him for it. So one of these days I got to get that from him. Anywho, let's see what else. Brown. That's right. I remember you saying that you were working here, but your home is in Rhode Island, and that's really a smart move because then you don't have to deal with all the. I shouldn't even say anything about it. We don't like talking politics on the air, but the state of California is so messed up. I just regret the fact that I still live here. But I know what it's like, what you're doing. When I was working for Hughes Aircraft, we were purchased by General Motors, and I took a field assignment with GM and spent a couple of years back in Michigan, but maintained my California residency. let's see. Yeah, I maintained my California residency for that one, so I didn't get. That was a tough one to deal with because they were nailing people that were living out of state, forcing them to pay taxes, even though they're forcing them to pay taxes on their income from the other states. But it was a big mess. So when I took my next field assignment, I gave up my residency in California. Spent 4.5 years living in Hong Kong, and didn't have to deal with the California taxes. But when I got home, I got to deal with a whole bunch of other stuff that I was unforeseen. So the law of unintended consequences. But by the way, the 618, now I'm not hearing the 400 hertz whine at all. It sounds really good, Brown. So, yeah, it's too bad that Mike left because he's on here on his 618T from time to time, and he always sounds good on that. But you can tell it sounds like you're on a carbon mic, but it does sound really, really good. So if you hadn't said that was a 618, I wouldn't have known that. So kudos on that. And great on having a ready-made Radio Shack. How cool is that, too? So, okay, let's see. We've gone through the list. Let me take a quick break, see if there's anybody else out there who'd like to join us, and then we'll make another quick pass through the list and shut the net, close the net down a little later on. So, anybody else out there who'd like to join us for the Collins Net? This is W6DQ.
Whiskey 6, Pop Echo.
I got you, and I think there was another station in there. Can you try again? Well, maybe not. I thought I heard another station calling. But Mike, W6PE, welcome, my friend. Nice to have you on here. Why don't you take a turn? Are you on the Collins gear tonight? Did you get it running, or are you still on the other radios? Go ahead.
I'm still on the Kenwood, but I'm making a lot of progress on the Collins. I finally got it recapped, all the electrolytics changed, and I got some new tubes for it. There were some of the tubes my tube tester wouldn't test. So I just went ahead and got new ones, and we placed all of those, and I got the planetary drive to work that I was having problems with. I finally figured out how to get that thing adjusted so it works okay, and so I expect to get it up here soon. It's been sitting on the bench for about 2 years now. So sometimes it seems like all the other honeydews and various things going on keeps me from doing some of the things I would really rather be doing. But I will get it on the air. The only question I have, I do have the power supply for it. I was wondering if anybody sells the kits to add the speaker to the power supply, because the one I have doesn't have a speaker in it.
Oh, okay, Mike, let's see if I got it. Okay, to answer that question, well, the power supply cabinet was never supplied with a speaker. Those are always just add-ons, and I don't know of anybody who sells a kit. You can get that replacement oval speaker from a couple of different sources. I want to say KE9PQ. Is it Nationwide? I can never remember his company, but KE9PQ, Mark Olson. I think he sells the speakers. A couple of other places sell the speakers, probably in surplus sales in Nebraska, but you're going to pay a premium for it there. And maybe even Antique Electronics Supply out in Arizona, they may have them. But you can get a replacement speaker and do that. But you basically, we kind of frown on that because it's we don't really like. Well, I frown on it. I don't like modifying the equipment. In fact, I had a 516F2 that did have the speaker installed in, and I removed it. It's sitting on the shelf. If you have trouble finding a speaker, I might have a spare for you. So anyway, but I put the thing back original in my end here. So anyway, there you go. Answer the question? Go ahead.
Okay. Well, if it's best to leave them unmodified, then I won't do that. I can always just build an external speaker cabinet and stick a speaker in there. I'll have to check and see whether it's expecting to see like a 4 ohm or 8 ohm speaker, but I'm sure that'll be in the manual.
You bet, yeah, and it is a 4 ohm is what they specify. They never delivered one in there, and the only thing that really, it's your radio. You do what you want with your own radios, but for those of us who collect and restore and operate, try and keep them as original as possible. So yeah, it's all a matter of personal preference.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I kind of like to keep the things as original as possible. There are some original things that do have to go, like the old electrolytic capacitors, because those can do a lot of damage.
Yes, that's true. Okay. Well, very good, Mike. Anything else? I'm going to make another pass through the list.
Negative. All yours.
WA6JKN.
Oh, Kevin's back. All right, we got you back here. Kevin, I'm going to pick you up on this round. We missed you on the first round. Sorry about that. Maybe it was the dinner call or something, but let's pick you up because what time is it? Yeah, we're getting late. So maybe we make a 7-3 round here and catch everybody. But let me go back up to the top of the list, and we'll get Max KJ6HN, Ron W6RBJ, our new member Jerry KF6VB, and Mike W6MVM. And Mike, give it back to me. So take it away, Max KJ6HN W6DQ.
Okay, Max here. KJ6HN in Darwin, California. And I know it's a 73 round, so I won't keep my conversation very long, but I just wanted to add some more comments on water quality. And something that I do is taking monthly coliform samples, which I have to run up to the county water analysis lab. So coliform samples are handled by the county, and pretty much all the other water samples we run through BSK labs in Fresno, and that's copper and the lead rules and all the other stuff. It's intense. And another comment, something that we found when our raw water tank had sprung a leak 4 years ago, is we tried to bring chlorinated water into the town with only one tank. And what we found, and I don't know if this would be true for your well, whether it's community well or private well, but what we found in chlorinating at the source of the water is that we vastly reduced the quantity of iron oxide eating bacteria, which was responsible for us having to flush the transmission line into town 2 or 3 times a year. And by chlorinating at the spring water source, we pretty much eliminated that. So that was really a blessing. And we want to try to continue to do that as we keep our water system running, which will be a challenge for running the chlorinator up at the water treatment plant, because it's about a 2-hour round-trip drive out to the spring source in a 4-wheel drive vehicle to put those chlorine tablets in, and which is also another issue, which I'll discuss in private someday. They're not NSF certified, and we can't get NSF certified chlorine tablets in the state of California. State rules, who knows why, that's just the way it is. And then Dennis, you're talking about the plastic casing liner. That's a great idea because it will reduce or eliminate the process of the iron oxide eating bacteria chewing away at the inner lining of the iron pipe. So that's all I have to say. I'll keep it short. And 73, everybody, thanks for checking in. And this is KJ6HN over to W6RBJ and the group.
Okay, 5 business, KJ6HN and the group W6RBJ. I've moved over to my S line. It looks like I might be getting a little better output here, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm very interested in hearing all of this water talk because as a person who is kind of self-taught with regards to the running a water system, I moved into this place. There was no water available. There was a capped well, and so I uncapped it and put a three-phase submersible down it, and away we went. We had a lot of iron, developed bacterial iron, and exactly, I started with a small chlorine injector pump at the wellhead, and boy, did it clean things up. It's amazing stuff. So, yeah, it's been a real, it's almost as exciting as trying to take an old colander and get it to work properly. At any rate, signals have been up and down tonight. They're on a little bit of a downswing right now, but everyone has been Q5 copied, so it's been a pleasure and it's very enjoyable to hear the adventures of the water companies. I have complete confidence in you, and I empathize completely. So with that, I'll jump off. I don't know if Jerry's hanging around, but we'll see. We'll give it a try. So KF6 Victor Bravo, if you're there, this is W6RVJ 73.
Okay, W6RVJ in the group, KF6VB. Sir, you have an excellent signal. Very nice and loud here. Okay, I do have to QRT shortly, but I just wanted to comment on a couple of things. W1NCR, Mr. Brown, I do not hear any 400 hertz on your signal. Good job. With regard to my CW conversion system, this is a receive-only system. It has no effect on transmit, except that it does convert the side tone that you hear. As far as the radio is concerned, it's still 1750 hertz. And yeah, I do need to double check before I start using this in anger. I need to double check the balanced mixer and make sure that it's really, really well balanced, because I don't want to transmit any more than one signal that I can be blamed on. I'm using the DSP noise reduction now. It makes the band noise go away. It is a little fussy with regard to RF gain. You put in too much RF gain and everything just gets distorted, and that's no fun. I think I might modify my system to have a relay that takes it out entirely, unless you have the radio in the noise blanker position. You do that with one of these, little tiny DP-DT relays. I think I jumped the gun on ordering those circuit boards from the Chinese board house. But anyway, let me see now. Who gets it next? Help, I'm lost. W6DQ in the group. This is KF6VB.
Speed, W6MVM.
Yeah, take it, Mike.
Oh, thanks. KF6VB, W6MVM. Your whole thing is very intriguing. And yeah, I've totally guilty of running both the S1 line and the KWM2 on CW, and I watch them very carefully, usually with a flex when I do it, and I've had some problems that I've had to align out, but mostly they just work, and I don't run them through an amplifier to amplify any of the things that they might do. I use them at 100 watts, and they're great. I prefer the 75S3 and 32S3. I have a 75S3C. 32S3 works great on CW. It's gangbusters for that, and I highly recommended. It's as good as any modern transceiver as far as I'm concerned, except for it doesn't have the spectrum analyzer like my Flex. Actually, the best CW rig in the world is a Flex. No doubt about it. And because of that, especially in contests, the pounce mode, I mean, it's just great for that. Anyway, we did 233 contacts here at the ranch where we did field of the day as K6TUO, and had a great time. And it was really great because we tore down all my antennas and put them back up the right way, and I've now have the great benefit of the antennas all being put together by the field day crew. Anyway, you're hearing me on the G5RV that we put up for field day, and it's really doing great. Anyway, let me say, Brown, good to hear you in town. Marianne's right here, and if you can come by, please let us know. And it's really good to hear you. And let's see. Also wanted to mention the IARU World High Frequency World Sweepstakes. Good chance to work a lot of DX. The exchange is very simple. Your RST or RS on phone, and 06 for this region. 06 for this region. So there's going to be a lot of people looking for California again from the world. So it's our chance to work some good stations. Anyway, I thought I'd mention that. And as for water, we're living in an area where the water system was built in 1850. I mean, the water still runs through ditches and troughs and these great, incredible spans across the canyons, these big wooden trough holders. It's remarkable. Except when there's a fire like it did, it burned one of them down. But anyway, they put it back together. But our water here is, you can't believe it. It is so old-fashioned. But the water really tastes good. That's all I can say. Anyway, let me pass it on, and I'm going to say 73 to everybody. It's a good one. Good net tonight, Dennis. W6DQ, W6MVM.
Oh, very good, Mike. W6MVM, W6DQ. Great stuff. Yes. Well, I'm chuckling at you talking about the 1850 water system. I think I've mentioned this on here once before, that when I was a kid in high school, my parents' place, I grew up in the Palos Verdes Peninsula. And we were putting in a new sewer system, and they had all the drawings from the water company, and there was nothing in the way, but they were doing core samples. The drawings indicated there was nothing there, so here they are out in front of our house, taking a core sample, and all of a sudden there's a geyser of water coming up out of the ground. So there was a pipe there that nobody knew was there. When they pulled the core sample out, it was probably about a 10-inch wooden pipe, hexagonal, coated with inside with pitch and wrapped in canvas. That was a kick, and we said now we know why our water was so crummy. The water that we got at that house was terrible. It was really it was okay. I mean, but it was just dirty. There was a lot of sediment in it. So it was what a time. So yeah, we figured that probably went back to when that area had been settled, which was in the 1800s. There were some cattle ranches where we lived right there, and that particular street we lived on was where the cattle ranches were. So I think that's probably part of the original water system there that they put in. But Palos Verdes Water Company, oh boy, that's great. I love it. At least you didn't have to worry about wooden pipes underground catching on fire. But yeah, I see your problem there. And Jerry, great. Great to hear all of that. It's great to have you with us tonight. And looking forward to having you on here again. Hopefully next week you'll join us. And And Ron, your signals come way up, and I agreed with Jerry. Yeah, your signals, you sound good. Your signal strength came way up. The S line is doing good, so that made quite a difference. And Max, yeah, we should talk offline sometime. We can catch up on the landline sometime, on the mobile landline. All right. Let me go to the next group, starting with Lisa, KF6QNG. Lisa, hopefully, Kevin, you're still there, WA6JKN. Kevin, it goes to Skip, K6LGL, and Skip, Wayne checked out he had to leave, so I doubt that he's back because he's not back on Zoom. He got a phone call. So send it over to Brown, W1 November Zulu Romeo. And Brown, go ahead and give it back to me when you're done. So, Lisa, take it away. KF6QNG from W6DQ.
Okay, thank you. And I want to wish everyone a good, happy weekend, and stay safe, stay cool. If you're in heat areas, it's supposed to be fairly nice this week. Supposed to get really hot next weekend, so oh well. Been pretty lucky, though, considering this is July. Anyway, everyone have a safe and good evening. So with that, it goes over to Kevin, WA6JKN from KF6QNG.
Okay, Lisa, thank you very much. Let's see here. You just threw a button here. Okay, I just want to make sure I was transmitting. This is WA6JKN operating remote. I'm at the mercy of the internet. I couldn't answer up last time around because the internet system kind of disappeared. So looks like it's back up, and it's kind of hanging in there so far. That happens from time to time. We're out here in the country. I'm located in Tyler, Texas, right up at the border next to Lindale, Texas, which is the home of Miranda Lambert, as they say in this neck of the woods. Matter of fact, that's where we went out to dinner tonight, to the Texas Music City Hall for a nice big steak dinner. Actually, I had prime rib, and everybody else chose what they wanted. And then we went out for ice cream. You know, it's always nice to go out for ice cream afterwards. They have a unique place that has kind of a custard flavor to it, so that was good. Then we came back here, and I tried to get on the air, and that didn't work out too well. But it looks like it's holding in there now. I'm glad I made the 73 round. I didn't catch too much of what everybody was talking about. I heard something early on about wells and then CW, and that's my favorite, CW. Yeah, that's how most of us started, was on Morse code back in the day. There was no other mode other than Charlie Whiskey. The diddy-dum-dum ditties, yep, I remember that. And let's see, there was a few other comments made about various rigs and stuff like that, so that's all I remember hearing. I didn't take any notes. I was trying to figure out how to solve the internet. I'm now running a 5G tunnel, so it should be pretty solid. Before I was only on the 2.4, which should be just as good, but it's connected as part of the mesh system. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but the latency on it is just ridiculous. And if you happen to be between two mesh systems, they kind of hand off back and forth, and it causes problems with trying to stream audio and packets and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's it for me. I'm going to say good night, the very best to you and your families. And thanks for letting me stop by. And one more time here, take care, and over to you, Skip, K6LGL, and the Collins Group, WA6JKN from Tyler, Texas.
Kevin, I guess the remote is working. You have an interesting frequency response there, but it's legible and it's getting the job done. Okay, W6JKN, the Collins CCA net, K6LGL, Skip in Santa Monica. Okay, well, good to hear. A couple of stations I haven't heard before, and of course, one is Brown, W1MZR, and KBK Yeah, Mexico an original there with a small town water supply system, which you are part of the water committee, I guess. That's a different story. That's one advantage of living in a city, but believe me, the water costs are high for that nice, clean, reliable supply. But, hey, you have to, if you want quality, you have to pay for it. That's the way usually it is. Thank you for all of you who support the net. Thanks, Dennis, for doing it, and Lisa, and all the others. I'll say my 73s, maybe see some of you on the Swan Net Saturday at about 7:30 on same frequency. So, goes over to you, Brown. W1MZR, I presume you're still there. Charles Yell, K6, little green light, Santa Monica by the Bay. Good night to all, and I'll listen out around.
Oh, very good, Skip. KG6, or K6 LGL from W1NZR. Very, very, very good, Skip. You were a little light, but I got 100%. I suspect I'm probably the same down at your end, but good to hear you. Good to hear everyone here. And I'll say a very good evening to all, a pleasant weekend. Dennis, thank you very, very much for running the net. Net control is... it's not easy sometimes. I run the old military radio net on 3885 on Saturday mornings back east, and it requires quite a bit of effort, but I know that it's a labor of love, so it's very much appreciated. Also, I'd like to pass greetings from Francesco Leda, the Collins Collector Group president, K5URG. I spoke with him today. He's a good friend, and I told him I'd probably be on the net tonight, so he says hello to everyone. And Mike, W6MVM, a very good evening to you. And Marie, I'll give you a call tomorrow. And you're just booming in over here. So with that, oh, and also I wanted to say hello to Max in Darwin. Outstanding. Always great to hear you. I'm going to drop in on you one of these days. That part of California is very near and dear to me. So with that, Dennis, I'll pass it back to you. And to answer one of your questions, yes, this is an old Telex carbon mic. Actually, it's the same mic that I had in my Cessna 172 when I learned to fly about 40 years ago. So that's what the 618P is set up for. So that's what I'm using. A good night to all. W6DQ and the Collins Collector Friday Night West Coast Net. This is W1NZR saying a very good evening to all. Over to you, Dennis.
All right, Brown, very good. W1NZR, W6DQ here for the Collins Net. Well, that's great. I love it. It is the Telex, the old Telex mic from your 172. That's way cool. And this time, you know, it's interesting. I listened on the listening on the KWM 380. I don't hear the 400 hertz, but on the web SDR, I do hear it. But it's not even close to being objectionable. So you really sound good, on there. So that's pretty neat. I love it. But yeah, it is. I really do enjoy running the net here, and you know, as a net manager and also as one of the net controls, I am looking for more net control operators. So if any of you guys are interested in being a net control operator, drop me an email, because we'd sure like to bolster our ranks here a little bit. Would be nice. But in the meantime, it's still fun doing it, and we get a chance to play with these Collins radios, which is always a gas. And if you want to drop me in the line, of course, it's W6DQ at ARRL.net. Let's see. Kevin, and a comment that Mike made about the Flex. I do agree with you guys on the Flex. Flex is great on CW. What a wonderful radio. It's such a pleasure to operate on CW. I just really love it. And, you know, I've got the 6700 here, and it is just an amazing piece of electronics. And I really love that radio. I'm using it with a couple of different amplifiers. However, one of the amplifiers I've been using, because I've been playing on 6 meters a lot lately and running some power on there, trying to work DX. Looks like I blew an output transistor in my 6-meter amplifier, so I have to do a little bit more troubleshooting on that. But it's faulting out on me, darn it! I've been having so much fun with that, working on my Workdal states on 6 meters. One of these days I'll get that. But anywho, well, let me get the last group. Now let's see. Was there anything else? No, I think that's it. Yeah, Kevin, yeah, it was good to have you this time. Yeah, you really hung in there and really good, solid contact and solid connection on the internet. So good stuff, Kevin. And glad you were able to join us remotely. And with that, I'm going to send it over to our last group. We've got 3 there. Wait a minute. Brown, you made a comment about Francisco. Yeah, I haven't talked to Francisco for a couple of weeks. He and I spoke a little while back. I got to bug him about we need a board meeting. We haven't had a board meeting for a while, so we need to get that going and get some stuff resolved. But thank you for the reminder. I may give him a call this weekend, and I want to find out if he got the package from me that Wayne W6IRD and Sharon K6IRD delivered to him for me. So I haven't talked to him since then. Anyway, always a pleasure. But Brown, thanks for joining us tonight. It's great to have you here. Look forward to next time. So over the last group, we got WA6JBD Mel, and it'll go over to Kelly, K7DJV, Delta Juliet Victor, and Kelly, if you would, give it to Mike, W6PE, Whiskey 6 Papa Echo, and then Mike, give it back to me, and we'll conclude the net. So take it away, Mel, WA6JBD from W6DQ.
All right, thank you, Dennis. W6DQ, the Carlos Cast. This is WA6JBD. Well, let's see. This is 73 rounds, so I'll keep it short. But Dennis, you had mentioned you got to pick up a antenna or antenna mount from Chip. Reminded me of this comment, microwave related, that I was going to pass to you. I had, because I blew out my back last September, my big radio, the 30-watt, 35-watt, with a 4-foot dish, the tripod weighs almost 100 pounds, just the tripod. And so I'm sitting here trying to evaluate what am I going to do, what's the long-term prospect with that thing. I don't think I'm going to be hauling it up to Potosi and setting up there for the contest anytime soon. So I got to figure out what to do with that, and if I can come up with some alternative to loading it up into the car, because that's just getting it out of the garage is a non-trivial task. And imagine hauling it up to some mountaintop and getting it operational. It's right now a bit too much for me. So that's all I got to do. And then Brown, to went in and said, oh, you mentioned your Cessna 172 Telex mic. Telex, but I am currently using an aircraft headset left over from my flying days as well. I used to have a Cessna 172, so maybe one of these days we'll have to steer the net discussion towards airplanes. That's one of my favorite subjects. I'm long, not current, but still in love with airplanes. That's all I got. 73, everybody. It was nice to be able to check in. Hopefully I'll be able to check in next week. Hopefully Skip will be on the Swan Net tomorrow night. That's the intention, but life gets in the way. But we'll see how it goes. Good night, everybody. Catch you next time. K7DJB. Just take it away. WA6JBD. Good night, guys.
K7DJV. I don't know if you heard. You may not be hearing Mel, but it's your turn. Go ahead. K7DJV. Are you still there? Well, sounds like Kelly left the building. Okay. Mike, go ahead and pick it up. Whiskey 6 Papa Echo. And the Collins Net W60Q. Go ahead.
Well, thank you, Dennis. Not too much more to add. Just glad to check in tonight. I have another net at 7 p.m. on Fridays, but it's generally over by about 7:30 or so. So I'll make it a habit when I get done with that to jump over on this one. It's good to hear everybody there on the old Collins gear, and I hope to get mine up here running shortly. So it's a challenge, but I'm getting there, and I'm learning a lot on the way. So everybody have a great weekend, and Henry Freeze, W6PE.
Okay, Mike, very good. Very good. Well, let's see. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you on Sunday morning. We always have a fun nets on Sunday morning. We see on all of them, except for the only one I don't think you check into is the LA Aries net, LAX Aries net on Sunday. I don't think I've heard you on there, but you do check in on the other ones, and of course you've got your net first thing in the morning. I always enjoyed that. That's a good net. And you've always got a bodacious signal down here in Yokern. So, and right now you're doing just fine tonight. So that's cool. Well, I'm sorry that Kelly left us. And Mike, yeah, I got that. Mel, tripod. Yeah. Well, my back is doing okay. I've got back problems, but I have a Gibraltar with a pumpkin head on it, and that's going to mount up the big Pratlin. It's like, yikes. I'm looking forward to that. But it got to be done. You know, you got to do it. And I've got the radio. That's a 10-watt radio. And I think that'll do really well. I've got the new W1GHZ dual band feed for it. I picked one of those up for it so I can do 10 and 24 on that dish. So, yeah, we'll see. It ain't going to happen for this contest. Maybe next year. We'll see what happens next year. Okay, folks. Well, listen, it's past our witching hour. It's almost 8:30. Wait a minute. Oh, my clock is wrong. I think I set the time wrong today. Anyway, that figures. We've got a timing system running through the shack here. I run iRig, good old iRig B around to a bunch of remote clocks around the shack, and we had a power failure, and I didn't have the UPS running on the time code generator, and the time code generator went down, and I finally got around to resetting time today, and I clearly put the wrong time in because it's actually 8:20, but oh, it's way off. What the heck is it doing? It's got something goofy going on there. I don't know. Oh, well, we'll figure it out. I got to go take a look at that and update the time. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead. If there's nothing else for the net, let me take a quick break and see if anybody else has anything to add. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and shut down the net. This is W60Q. Go ahead if anybody has anything.
Great net. This is W6MVM. Yeah, and I agree with you. The Flex is a great CW rig. Though the KWS 17584 is fun on CW, as is the S3 line. W6MVM.
Oh, Mike, you bet. You know, I've run 75S3. I've still got the first one I picked up in 1969, and I got it. I was like, I think Kevin JKN was saying, you know, we all started out as novices back then running CW, and I loved that radio on CW. And I ran that with a Johnson Invader with the electronic TR switch, and man, what a great setup that was. I loved that station, and hope to get. I've got an Invader here 2000 that I hope to get on the air someday and pair up with a 75S3, but I love the 75S3, and it sits on the desk with the S3C as a second receiver. So yeah, it's a great radio, great CW rig. All right, guys, well, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug on the net. This has been a great net tonight. Really enjoyed all the discussions, and we got a couple of new participants. Jerry, welcome. and Kelly, who disappeared, unfortunately, and Brown, we got you back here. I know you've been here a few times in the past, but it's always great to hear you on here. And hear that 618T. That's cool. And I'm with Mel. I don't fly, but I love airplanes, and I love flying in small aircraft. I don't like commercial airlines, commercial airports, and all that stuff. But boy, you get me in a 172. I got a buddy that I used to fly with all the time, and I just really love that. That's a lot of fun. So even in a busy airspace like the LA area, it was still a lot of fun to fly around in that. So good on you. With that, I'm going to say 7-3 and a very good evening. I'm going to return the frequency to normal amateur use, and I'm going to officially close the Collins Net for July 7th, 1923. No, 2023. Till next week. And hopefully Wayne will be able to pick it up next week. He had a phone call, had to leave, unfortunately. So anyway, 7-3, everybody. Good night, and have a great weekend. This is Delhi 60Q will be signing in clear.